The caption for this photo reads, and I quote, "A Capitol Hill police officer arrests a protester on Capitol Hill in Washington Thursday, June 17th, 2010. So this woman is back 8 days later? Wouldn't you think that she would have been excluded from the proceedings? Wouldn't you think that she would have been stopped at the door and turned away? And did you notice that the caption for this picture does not include the protester's name? Recall that the first picture was captioned with her name as Diane Wilson. The second picture lists Diane Wilson simply as a protester. Shouldn't the caption read, "Diane Wilson returns for another staged photo op"? Diane Wilson, a commercial fisherwoman who has traveled from Texas to Washington, D.C. to pour syrup on herself, and 8 days later returns to wipe black ink on her hands and face? Sounds unreasonable, does it not? But wait, Diane Wilson is the author of the book, An Unreasonable Woman, a true story of shrimpers, politicos, polluters, and the fight for Seadrift, Texas. Could it be that her syrup and ink protest was a staged event to propagandize the BP Gulf oil spill as the greatest ecological disaster of our time? Or is it possible that this ridiculous protest was a publicity stunt designed to sell more books? Whatever the case may be, I find it strange that the Capitol Hill police were not competent enough to run a background check on Diane Wilson shortly after her first arrest. It seems to me that she would have been easily recognizable by the police assigned to the hearings. This being the case, I would doubt that she would have been allowed to enter into the hearings for a second time. Question: if you pulled this stunt and then came back 8 days later, do you think you would have been allowed in? Of course not. This whole scenario is staged, which is why this second officer expresses no sincere concern while this woman smiles. Picture number 28. This picture is supposed to be of a cleanup crew that has been assigned to clean up a contaminated beach. The only problem is, the beach is already completely clean. Picture number 29. Here we have a woman who is kneeling in a supposed contaminated area. If this area is contaminated with hazardous oil-related chemicals, why is this woman kneeling in hazardous oil-related chemicals? Picture number 30. This picture is of a contaminated marshland. This particular picture is actually one of the only ones that I have seen that would be convincing. I say would be convincing because we have no way of telling that the contamination stems from the BP Gulf oil spill. The other issue is that we have no clear information as to where this contaminated area is located. For all we know, this picture could have been taken in Madagascar. My point is that without more conclusive evidence, we would have to trust and believe in what media is telling us about this picture. If we have found that some of the media source pictures have been changed, staged, doctored, or manipulated, then is it possible that many more media source pictures have been changed, staged, doctored, or manipulated? What I am getting at here is that the media's usage of changed, staged, doctored, or manipulated images should be an adequate indicator as to the level of trust that we should place in media. Let me say that again. The media's usage of changed, staged, doctored, or manipulated images should be an adequate indicator as to the level of trust that we should place in media. If media is constantly lying to you, then why would you continue to believe what media tells you? It is only when we are relegated to child consciousness, when we operate and accept reality based upon externally programmed beliefs, that we fail to ask critical questions which would normally inform us as to the validity of any given issue. Critical questions. How is it that after 2 months, you cannot find one BP-related oil spill video captured and distributed by a civilian that conclusively validates the proposition that this oil spill is the greatest ecological catastrophe of our age? How is this possible? How is it possible that thousands of miles of pristine coastlines are supposedly impacted by this massive disaster, and there is not one everyday person like you or me that has taken their camcorder, digital camera, or their cell phone and recorded for themselves conclusive evidence to support that this supposed oil spill is an ecological mega disaster? In the age of the World Wide Web, the Internet, instant communication, and the like, how is it that after 2 months there is no conclusive evidence to support the claim that this BP Gulf oil catastrophe is both substantively real and scientifically provable? After 2 months, there should be thousands of different videos from people throughout the Gulf Coast region uploaded onto the World Wide Web. In fact, by this time, there should be tens of thousands of Gulf Coast oil spill videos posted on the World Wide Web, the bulk of which would clearly illustrate that the BP Gulf oil spill is the greatest ecological disaster of our time. As of today, June 21st, 2010, you cannot find one single video posted on the World Wide Web by an everyday person like you or me that conclusively proves that this massive ecological disaster is real. How is it that Cousin Joe and Auntie Thelma down in Louisiana have yet to personally witness any oil wash up on their shoreline? No oil? Yes, none, as in zero. And yet, this is supposed to be the greatest ecological catastrophe of our time? Some would say that the oil is on its way, and it's only a matter of time. A matter of time? How long do you need? 4 months? 6 months? A year? What if all we continue to see is media-sourced images and videos? What if all we continue to see are official pictures from BP's website, pictures of work crews cleaning up nothing, pictures of work crews whose attire is perfectly clean, whose instruments are perfectly clean, who stand on the beach supposedly cleaning up tar balls that are not even visible, who stand on beaches that are supposedly contaminated with extreme amounts of oil, beaches that look pristine, beaches that show no sign of contamination, beaches that look better than the beaches in Los Angeles, California. And yet, we are led to believe that the greatest ecological disaster of our time is taking place in the Gulf. I ask you, where is the undeniable proof of this? The truth is, there is none. Every day, I scour the internet in search of new video footage that would provide me with the proof I need to conclusively state that there is indeed a catastrophic oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. And every day, I come up empty. I search Google, YouTube, Yahoo, and countless other major video upload sites for personal testimonies from everyday people like you or me, personal testimonies backed with live video footage that clearly verifies the proposed ecological catastrophe. Footage that shows depths of field, footage that shows land mass, footage that shows visible oil washing up to shore in mass, footage that shows anyone other than BP officials or media talking heads. And every day I come back from my search empty-handed, only able to find the same graphs, still photos, charts, computer-generated images that have been carefully issued to the public. Why, even the so-called alternative media uses the same graphs as the mainstream media, the same still photos as the mainstream media, the same charts as the mainstream media, the same computer-generated images as the mainstream media.